You know that uncontrollable urge you get to just toss your $5,000 computer out the window of your third-story apartment? Of course you do. Maybe not out of a third-story apartment window, but you know. See, that is what Remnant from the Ashes made me feel when I had to fight some of those nightmares that the developers refer to as bosses. Like seriously, who thought it was a good idea to make you fight two giant bugs that infect you, limiting your stamina, stab you with long pointy spears that you find difficulty dodging because, well, you're infected and have reduced stamina, then shoot field-wide laser beams at you, all the while trying not to roll off the flimsy bridge that you're standing on. But with those bosses came the majority of the fun, trying to strategize ways of actually defeating them. See, what Remnant is an action RPG set in a post-apocalyptic world where the Root, an army of Groot-like tree people, have all but driven us to extinction. We are the chosen few, destined to bring an end to their tyranny and attempt at genocide by exploring rundown cities, descending into dark caves, trekking through swampland, cutting our way through lush forests, and traveling through interdimensional portals leading to other entire worlds coexisting alongside ours in wait, what? To save mankind from the Root, we're told by an old lady to go find an old man that can help us, and thus begins our journey. Thankfully, we have a full arsenal of weaponry to aid us in our journey, along with special mods we can equip on our weapons that allow us to summon tentacles from the ground, shoot out infectious diseases, and wait. Is this a good idea? Like, you guys barely know me. I could be some kind of psychotic killer. Or worse yet, I might not be. Like, let's see you guys win a war with a pacifist leading you. I bet you guys didn't think of that. You run around the world breaking crates, barrels, chairs, tables, and various other inanimate objects you find to loot scraps, which is essentially the currency in this game. Oh, and iron, all different kinds of iron. The various types of iron you find around the game are used to upgrade your weapons and armor. Things that you'd think you'd need, but this game actually scales with your gear. The stronger your gear gets, the more difficult the enemies get. So if you thought upgrading your gear would give you an advantage, well, you'd be right because it does, but that doesn't change the fact that enemies scale with you, which is actually pretty cool, honestly, as otherwise the game would become very, very easy. So armed with your gear, you set out on a journey to save the world. This is where the game really begins. The first time my wife and I played this game, we encountered the boss Shroud. We were new to the game and therefore weren't very good at it, admittedly. So it took us about half an hour to beat this guy. That was probably the single most difficult encounter we had had up until, like, I guess probably those giant moth things on the bridge. But bosses were incredibly difficult and required you actually learn mechanics. One small move and you could screw things up for the other person and ultimately your entire team. Thankfully though, I am a pro at these kinds of games and I carried us to victory more often than not. Moving on. By the end of the game, after having traveled to like 4 or 5 neighboring worlds and you know, just killing stuff in each of them, we made it to the final boss, Sasuke Uchiha, or at least that's who I assume it was, since he sounds just like him.
The children do not understand. The children believe their lives worth living. The children are wrong.
All right. Then why don't you prove it to me? I want you to kill her right now.
This boss left me with the uncontrollable urge to... Well, you watched the beginning of the video, you know how I felt. If you didn't fight this guy on 2-player co-op, then I don't think you can really fathom just how tedious this fight got, especially without the correct gear upgraded. You're required to soak up stacks of damage increase in this world while the other player fights the monsters that you're killing back with the boss. Then you're supposed to deal enough damage to the shell of the boss to break open the barrier holding Sasuke in his chest while dodging meteors from the sky and ads trying to screw you from behind. If you somehow manage to finally kill the boss, which took us about an hour and a half, then you blow up a building and then you just sail off into the sunset, I think? Yeah, in a very picturesque style. All in all though, this was an incredibly entertaining game. Since starting, my wife and I have played through it at least 3 times, finally obtaining plus 20 gear and finding every little hidden secret and boss we can. And there are a lot of different bosses, since each boss has a 50-50 chance of being one of several for each playthrough, leaving a lot of replayability. But that's just me. What about you?